Hello everyone. Today, I'd like to talk about the Mongol invasions of Japan during the Kamakura period, also known as the Gennkou. In the 13th century, the Mongol Empire rapidly expanded its power, coming to control a wide area of the Eurasian continent. After the 5th emperor, Kublai Khan, destroyed the southern Song dynasty and took control of all of China, he began to demand submission from Japan as well. Kublai Khan sent envoys to Japan many times via Goryeo, then the Korean peninsula, to demand tribute, but the Kamakura shogunate at the time refused. Although the shogunate recognized the power of the Mongol Empire, it had a strong will to protect Japan's independence. Kublai Khan was infuriated by Japan's refusal and planned to conquer Japan by force. The Mongol invasions were broadly divided into two phases. Bunei invasion, 1274. After attacking Tsushima and Iki, a combined Mongol Koryo army of about 30,000 men landed in Hakata Bay. Japanese samurai fought bravely using traditional tactics centered on single combat, but had difficulty dealing with the group tactics and firearms of the Mongol army. However, a nighttime surprise attack and a storm caused heavy damage to the Mongol forces, forcing them to retreat. The Koan invasion, 1281. Following the failure of the Bunei invasion, Kublai sent an even larger army. The Eastern Army and the Jiangnan Army, totaling about 140,000 soldiers, invaded Japan. Learning from the lessons of the Bunei invasion, the shogunate built stone walls, defense walls to prevent Mongol invasions, along the coast of Hakata Bay to strengthen its defenses. Using this fort as a base, the Japanese forces put up a fierce resistance and prevented the Mongol forces from landing. Then, another storm occurred, causing devastating damage to the Mongol fleet and drowning many soldiers. This storm is known as the Divine Wind. The Mongol invasions had a major impact on the Kamakura shogunate and Japanese society. Decline in the shogunate's authority. Because it was a defensive war, the shogunate was unable to give new rewards to the Gokunin. This caused the Gokunin to become dissatisfied and weakened the shogunate's unifying power. Establishment of guard posts in foreign countries. In preparation for a second invasion by the Mongol Empire, the vassals of Kyushu were tasked with guard posts in foreign countries. This was a burden on the vassals and was one of the causes of discontent. Changes in Japanese consciousness. The defeat of the mighty Mongol Empire created a sense of nationalism and unity among the Japanese people. The legend of the kamikaze also strengthened the idea that Japan was a country protected by the gods. Changes in international relations in East Asia. The failure of the Mongol invasion of Japan influenced subsequent international relations in East Asia. The Mongol dynasty gave up on a second invasion of Japan, and Japan maintained its independence. The Mongol invasions were an unprecedented crisis in Japanese history, but they were repelled by the indomitable spirit of the Japanese people and the power of nature, and became an event that had a major impact on the subsequent history of Japan. Since the Mongol invasions were not a battle to gain territory, it was difficult to provide rewards after the war, such as distributing land. The samurai who fought and risked their lives were not given adequate reward, and dissatisfaction grew. This eventually led to the defection of the shogunate's vassals and a decline in the shogunate's authority, which later became one of the causes of the downfall of the Kamakura shogunate. The Yuan dynasty was a Mongolian dynasty that ruled China and the surrounding areas from the 13th to the 14th century. The emergence of Genghis Khan. In the early 13th century, Genghis Khan, Temujin, unified the nomadic peoples of the Mongolian plateau and established the powerful Mongol Empire. Expansion of the empire. Genghis Khan's successors expanded their territory westward, creating a vast empire that spanned the vast Eurasian landmass. Kublai Khan's accession to the throne and establishment of the country's name. The 5th emperor, Kublai Khan, moved the capital to Dadu, present-day Beijing, and named the country Dai Yuan in 1271. The fall of the Southern Song dynasty and the unification of China. After many years of fighting, Kublai Khan overthrew the Southern Song dynasty in 1279 and unified all of China. This made the Yuan dynasty the first unified dynasty of different ethnic groups in Chinese history. Dual system of government. the Yuan dynasty adopted a dual system of government that combined traditional Mongolian and Chinese systems. The Mongols controlled the military and key government posts, while the Han Chinese bureaucrats also ran the administrative affairs. Ethnic discrimination. The Yuan dynasty divided the classes according to ethnicity, and established a four-class system with the Mongolians at the top. This caused discontent among the Han people. Establishment of the relay system. Jamchi. In order to efficiently control their vast territory, they established a relay system and developed transportation and communication networks. Centralized system. A centralized system was established with the emperor at the center, and the country was divided into several administrative provinces to govern. Circulation of paper money. Kublai Khan circulated paper money called jiaoqiao nationwide to promote economic development. This was the first full-scale issuance of paper money by a nation in world history. Development of East-West trade. Through the vast network of the Mongol Empire, trade between the East and the West flourished. Many foreigners, including Marco Polo, visited and recorded their experiences. Emphasis on agriculture. In order to recover from the famine and ensure a stable food supply, policies emphasizing agriculture were adopted. Role of Islamic merchants. Islamic merchants from Central and Western Asia played an important role in economic activities. Coexistence of diverse cultures, including Mongolian, Han, Tibetan, and Islamic, coexisted and interacted with each other. The rise of Yuan opera. Yuan opera developed among the common people. The Legend of the Western Opera is a representative work. Development of literati painting. While inheriting the traditions of the Southern Song dynasty, literati painting developed with its own unique style. Representative painters include Vao Mingfu. Development of science and technology. Islamic astronomy and calendar science were introduced, leading to the creation of highly accurate calendars such as the Shushi calendar. The demise of the original. Increasing social unrest, ethnic discrimination, heavy taxes, and successive natural disasters led to increased social unrest. Red Turban Rebellion. In the mid-14th century, a peasant rebellion, Red Turban Rebellion, led by the White Lotus sect broke out, greatly destabilizing the rule of the Yuan dynasty. Founding of the Ming dynasty. Zhu Yuanong, who emerged from the Red Turban Rebellion, founded the Ming dynasty in Nanjing in 1368, and then moved north to capture Dadu. Northern Yuan dynasty. The remaining Yuan forces retreated to the Mongolian plateau and continued to resist under the name of Northern Yuan dynasty, but gradually declined. Although the Yuan dynasty was a unique entity in Chinese history, it promoted cultural exchange between the East and the West and had a major impact on later generations. In particular, the circulation of paper money and the development of Yuan music are noteworthy achievements. Kublai Khan, 1215–1294, was the fifth Mongol emperor, r. 1260–1294, and the first emperor of the Yuan dynasty of China, r. 1271–1294. His life represents a tumultuous period of expansion and transformation of the Mongol Empire, and the establishment of new dynasties in China. He was born as the second son of Genghis Khan's fourth son, Talyui. His mother was Sorkoktani Beki, a woman of the Karait tribe, who was known as a very wise woman. His older brother was the fourth emperor monk, his younger brother was Hulagu, the founder of the Ilkhanate, and his rival for the throne was Erik Bok. He was intelligent from an early age and received a traditional Mongolian military and political education. Succession and domestic politics. When his brother Monk ascended to the throne in 1251, Kublai Khan was put in charge of the conquest of China, where he achieved military success, including subjugating the kingdoms of Yunnan and Dali. After Monk's sudden death in 1259, Kublai Khan declared himself emperor, sparking a war of succession between him and his brother Erik Bok. In 1264, he forced Erik Buyuk to surrender and officially became the emperor of the Mongol Empire. After ascending to the throne, he shifted the center of national politics from the Mongolian plateau to China, actively promoted Han intellectuals and bureaucrats, and adopted a Chinese-style governing system. In 1271, the country was named Daiyuan, and the Yuan dynasty was established. The capital was moved to Dadu, present-day Beijing, and the project of unifying China was promoted. In terms of the economy, he worked hard to develop the transportation and communication networks within the empire, including promoting the circulation of paper money, jiacho, and establishing the relay system, jiamqi. In terms of culture, he protected Tibetan Buddhism and established the Fagpa script. He also welcomed many foreigners, including Marco Polo, to his court, promoting cultural exchange between the East and the West. Conquest of the Southern Song dynasty and expeditions to neighboring countries. Kublai Khan focused his efforts on the long-pending task of conquering the Southern Song dynasty, and completely destroyed it in 1279, unifying all of China. Even after unifying China, he actively launched expeditions to neighboring countries. He made Goryeo a vassal state and attempted to invade Vietnam, Burma, Java, and other countries, but was not always successful. The two Mongol invasions of Japan were also important events during Kublai's reign. He sent large armies to Japan in the Bunei invasion in 1274 and the Koan invasion in 1281, but both were repelled by natural forces such as storms and the valiant fighting of Japanese samurai. Later years and death. In his later years he was said to have been physically and mentally exhausted due to discord with the crown prince, and the failure of his expedition to Japan. He died in 1294 at the age of 79, and was succeeded by his grandson Timur, Sangjang. Although Kublai Khan was the emperor of the Mongol Empire, he was a ruler who had a deep understanding of Chinese culture and actively adopted it. His reign was a significant period in world history, as he ruled a vast empire, promoted cultural exchange between Eastern and Western cultures, and founded a new dynasty in China. On the other hand, negative aspects such as the invasion of Japan and policies of ethnic discrimination have also been pointed out. Kublai Khan was a central figure in two major historical trends: the development and transformation of the Mongol Empire, and the establishment of the Yuan dynasty, and his achievements and influence can be said to be enormous. Tokimune Hojo, 1251–1284, was the 8th regent of the Kamakura shogunate. His father was the 5th regent, Tokimune Hojo, and his mother was Zeni Matsushita. His childhood name was Masatoshi. Born in 1251, he became head of the Kozamurai Dokoro at the age of 9, and Rissho, a position that supported the regent, at the age of 13. He became regent at the young age of 18. This is thought to be because his father Tokiyori had high expectations of Tokimune as the eldest son. Response to the Mongol invasions. Tokimune's greatest achievement as regent was repelling the two invasions of the Yuan dynasty, Mongol Empire. Bunei invasion, 1274. Envoys from the Yuan dynasty demanded submission, but Tokimune refused. The Yuan Goryeo allied forces attacked Hakata, but the fierce resistance and storms forced the Yuan forces to retreat. The Battle of Koan, 1281. Against the large-scale invasion of the Mongol army, Tokimune built stone fortifications along the coast and prepared to fight to the death. Another storm occurred, dealing a devastating blow to the Mongol army. This storm is still referred to as the Divine Wind. Domestic affairs. In order to respond to the unprecedented crisis of the Mongol invasions, Tokimune ordered the mobilization of not only his retainers but also non-retainers, strengthening the nation's defense system. He also worked hard to ensure domestic stability, including the issue of post-war rewards. Culture. He was a devoted Zen sect leader, invited Migai Sojun from Song, and founded Engakuji Temple in Kamakura in 1282. Sudden death. Perhaps due to the stress of dealing with the Mongol invasions, he died in 1284 at the age of just 34. Hardline diplomatic stance. Despite repeated demands from the Yuan dynasty for submission, the Chinese maintained a firm stance and did not hesitate to take strong measures, such as executing Yuan envoys. Strengthening national defense. In preparation for a possible invasion by the Mongols, the defenses along the Kyushu coast were strengthened and samurai throughout the country were urged to be vigilant. Leadership. Despite his young age, he demonstrated strong leadership in the face of an unprecedented national crisis, uniting the shogunate and its vassals. moves towards Tokuso autocracy. On the other hand, in response to the Mongol invasions, there were also moves to strengthen the power of Tokuso, who was the direct descendant of the Hojo clan. Calm, collected, and strong-willed, even in the face of the powerful former empire, he remained unfazed and had a strong will to protect Japan. Decisiveness and execution. He made and carried out swift and bold decisions in critical situations, such as executing Yuan's messengers and building defensive fortifications. Mental strength. The strong mental strength that enabled them to face the national crisis of 2 Mongol invasions and overcome the national crisis is highly regarded. Ruthless side. He was known for using any means to achieve his goals, and was sometimes described as a ruthless person, for example, for killing his half-brother, Houjoutikimune. Houjoutikimune is a man who has left his mark in history by becoming regent at a young age and defending Japan from the greatest national crisis of all time, the Mongol invasions of Japan. His strong will and leadership have been passed down to future generations,